Boot. Hi, welcome. Welcome to a new motherfucking stream. I could have started that without saying that word that I just said. Welcome. Oh well. It's not like I can get monetized on YouTube anyways. Hello. Welcome, live audience. Welcome, post audience. This will probably be more of a post audience if I had to take a guess, because who gives a fuck what I have to say about about my top 10 games, right? But maybe you do, and maybe that's why you're listening to this. If you are, if you're not, then I think you're lying to yourself. But you know what? You can do whatever you want. This is a podcast discussion. Some may refer to it as a let's talk. I've done these before. More specifically, in 2019, I did one of these, and I quite liked it. And I would have done one last year, except I kind of wasn't streaming, like, at all last year, for a multitude of reasons. I've mentioned this over the course of the year. This has been my first year really, like, having an active stream schedule for the entirety of a year. Sans a single month where I, like, took a break, but then came back. It was actually a little more than a month, but, you know, it was about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. Probably less than 8 weeks. Probably 6 weeks. I don't really remember. It's been a year that has not been super cash money for a lot of people, but for games, it's been all right. So if you've never shown up to this show before, I'm just gonna give a quick rundown before we officially get into my top 5 games and the honorables. Let me just say that my name is Douglas, despite what the logo might say. It's not Gabriel Surge. Okay, well, my first name is Gabriel. That's true. But my friend Jacob keeps writing my name, like, when he, like, fills out, like, papers at work for me. He keeps writing my name as Gabriel Surge. I'm like, Jacob, no, stop. But hi, I'm me. And these are the games that I played. I didn't play a lot this year, but I did play enough to make a top 5. Not a top 10. Ordinarily, I would have done a top 10, but I really didn't go too much out of my comfort zone. So with that said, these are gonna mostly just be, mostly just Nintendo games. Maybe some other things as well. Actually, no. That would be a lie. These are all Nintendo games in my top 5. I even have the list right here, and there's an honorable that I don't think I actually put on there. I put one honorable. You know what? I did end up putting one honorable that isn't Nintendo. And I only put one honorable. That's a shame, but okay. So yeah, the way I'm gonna run this year's show is as follows. There's going to be a top 5 of 2021, and then there's going to be a top 10 streams of 2021. The reason I'm doing a little bit of a separation here is because I did play some games off stream that came out this year, and I mostly stream games that aren't releases from the year. So the way I'm gonna handle things are games from this year are going in my top 5, and then I'll just kind of, you might call it self-promo, but it's more just this is what I played this year, and this is what I got around to. As for things like off stream, there's only like, what did I even play that wasn't on stream this year? It was Metroid, it was Animal Crossing to a lesser extent, because I did stream that too, and it was a little bit of Minecraft, and that's really it. So my top 5 might look a little barren, but that's okay. There are many lists like this, but this one's mine. And we're gonna start with number 5, being WarioWare.
Oh yes, get it together!
I streamed the demo for this, and then I didn't continue streaming it, just because it was a little oversaturated on Twitch. So I decided, you know what, I want to play this on my own. I still like the game. I'm gonna play it. And my review is as follows. It's pretty good. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit in my headphones. How's that volume looking for you? I can maybe give you less volume, actually. Just very slightly. Yeah. Not that the volume is overpowering too much for you. It's just mostly me. But that said, WarioWare. Listen. I struggled to make a top 5 this year, because I only played 8 games that came out this year. I struggled between this and Monkey Ball for my number 5 slot. So if there was ever a top 6, Monkey Ball remake would be number 6. And I guess that's not Nintendo, so there's an honorable right there. An unofficial honorable being Monkey Ball. But let's talk about this game, WarioWare. It's a pretty good game. My big thing with it is there's just... like, WarioWare Gold was really good because it had full voice acting for the story mode. And it's a minor thing. Like, especially because the story mode is like 2 hours tops. And same with WarioWare here. 2 hours tops for the single player. And you kind of don't play WarioWare for the single player anyways. But that said, I loved the casting of WarioWare Gold on 3DS. And this brings back, I believe, everyone. I don't think anyone got recast. But the problem is they just cut the lines. Like, when I'm talking, if you've never played WarioWare Gold, I'm talking like, it's not just like, ha ha, I did it. It's like, no, Wario has like a lot of things to say. He's talking about like jumping off of a bungee cable and like, smell you later, losers, and like, what? He's got a lot to say. And in WarioWare Get It Together, it's mostly just like there's text on screen and then like a couple of the words are being voice acted. It's very strange. They like, I'm sure it's just a budget thing. Like the game ran out of budget, but it's a shame that it would have just been so much more if, at least for the like animated cutscenes, maybe I could understand like all the text boxes not being animated because they don't even really have like the voice actors barely read the lines there. It's more the animated cutscenes, like the opening specifically. Wario says like a couple of like grunts, but then like the other people like actually have their whole lines recorded. It's really weird. It's really weird. I'm wondering if that's because some people don't like Martinet as a voice actor because they're too used to Mario kind of being like like he is in the Mario and Luigi games, but I loved Martinet's performance in Gold, so, you know, not getting to hear him do massive voice lines isn't the end of the world, but it was actually kind of a thing that made me like, aw. And then even more so with the absence of Martinet having a potential huge role in the Mario movie, but that's a separate discussion. We're getting on tangents here, which is probably fine, but let's keep it to the game. The game itself, I like what it does with the different characters. I like how I'm shouting a little bit, and I don't really need to do that because my mic changes the volume level for me. I like what it does with having each micro game have different ways to complete it with each character, even though ultimately it turned out to be very tier list. And if you don't know what I mean by that, you're not gonna pick 9 volt voluntarily. I'll just say that. And you probably would pick someone like Orbulon, or maybe even Wario to some extent, on there. Also, this music, by the way, is just a general playlist of video game music that I like. Just kind of let it hit free shuffle. on YouTube. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about the game other than I really like the micro game aspect, having the different characters. It is fun multiplayer as well. I played it a lot. Well, not a lot, but I put a decent amount of hours into it with my roommate, and we enjoyed our time. The soccer micro game thing is stupid. A few of the micro game things are stupid, but that's kind of the fun of it at the same time. It might have not been soccer. Was it basketball? I don't remember. The problem is I've forgotten a lot of the game, and I don't tend to think about it too much. But, you know, it still did make my top 5. So what are the positives other than the things I've said? I mean, it's WarioWare. That's really the reason in and of itself, really. Like, WarioWare is just fun. It's just you play the games, you do the thing, you put the thing in, you take it out. Oh, look at me, I'm on a puppet. Sorry. I think that's really all I have to say about WarioWare. Not a whole lot to say there because the other runner-ups, Monkey Ball, it's Monkey Ball. Monkey Ball is Monkey Ball. It's what we've played. I like it. I just haven't really given it the right amount of time to like make a judgment call on it, which is the only reason why maybe it's lower here. I also played Pokemon Snap and Mario Golf, and Pokemon Snap was fine. I didn't go back to it for any of the side content, and Mario Golf, well, I kind of didn't care for that one this year, even though I quite tend to love Mario Golf. I did stream it a couple of times. It's fine. It's not a bad game. It's just a little lackluster at launch. Maybe with these post-launch updates, because I haven't really played any of them, I don't think. Maybe with the post-launch updates, I'll change my mind. So, TBD on a full review for Mario Golf, but and Pokemon Snap for that matter. But anyways, let's move on to my number 4, which, again, like I said, for the entirety of this list, all 5 slots are going to be games on the Nintendo Switch Game Console TM. So I didn't really get around to trying some of the good games. So let me just state, before I talk about Skyward Sword, let me just state that there are lots of really good games that I didn't get around to this year. And mayhaps I will get to them on stream later. My big thing for me is that I don't tend to play like I won't really try a franchise for the first time. At least this has been my philosophy for this year. I don't really want to try a new franchise for the first time off stream. I feel like that would be good, at least even for like a one-off. That said, let's get back to this, and that's Skyward Sword, which is, it's a game. It is a good game, as a matter of fact. I don't know why I sounded so unsure of myself there for a moment, because truthfully, Skyward Sword HD is the best way to play Skyward Sword. There's no question about it. You know, there can be a little bit of a contentious argument in the community for Majora's Mask 3D, which is mostly warranted, I'd argue. But Skyward Sword is not one of those games where it's like, well, I could see people preferring the original. It's like, no, across the board, everything is just better in Skyward Sword HD. I guess, you know what, with an asterisk, I will say the only thing in Skyward Sword HD that maybe wasn't great was just the Joy-Cons themselves as a controller for this game. Now, I streamed the entirety of this game. All 15 parts are on Live Libraries, so you can really see my development for the game. Originally, I had thought that the button controls were going to be trash, because I just couldn't, before the game came out, I couldn't really imagine how to play this game without that motion control. It was so integral into my brain as to, should this be important? I don't know. And in the end, the button controls are really nice. It's nice to not have to move your body freely, as you might say. That said, though, you know, the Joy-Cons, they work. I see speedrunners prefer to use Joy-Cons because of motion control. But, like, for me, you just gotta... It's such a minor thing, like, it's not a hassle, and it's a non-issue, but, like, you have to recalibrate the Joy-Con so often with that game, it's particularly with flying as well, like, especially with flying, I should say. Also, we're getting some plosives. I need to move the mic a little bit away from my face. I don't really know where to put it, though, so I'm kind of staring at my monitor screen right now. It's weird talking without having to, like, play a game. I'm, like, fidgety. But what can I say about Skyward Sword? As a game, Skyward Sword itself, I went into it being pretty warm to it. I wouldn't say I was lukewarm. I would say I liked Skyward Sword before, and now I would say with Skyward Sword HD, I really like it. I thought maybe some of the changes might change. Like, oh, maybe if this is, like, really good, I might like this more than Twilight Princess. I don't think that really happened. Maybe I would have put, like, one of the 2D games above Skyward Sword. Maybe I'll no longer do that. I don't really know. I haven't thought about it that deep. But this is the best way to play the game. No doubt about it. I mean, 60 FPS is fucking fantastic. Like, none of the other Zelda remakes, not Wind Waker HD, not Twilight Princess HD, did 60 FPS. For some reason, when I look at Majora's Mask 3D, I'm like, oh, this frame rate's good as fuck, and that's just because Majora's Mask original frame rate is shit. Originally running at 20, 3D runs at 30, apparently. So I've been told. So, like, you know, this game being at 60 FPS is a Legend of Zelda first. Breath of the Wild also ran at 30, and at launch it kind of ran at a pretty unstable 30. Now it's actually pretty good. I've replayed Breath of the Wild a lot. I love that game. Probably a top 10 of all time contender for me, genuinely. Breath of the Wild, that is. But anyways, Skyward Sword is fine. A lot of people had their complaints about the game because of Fi being Fi. Certain story elements being annoying, like, why do you have to go through every region 3 times? At least with Lanayru, there's a new area to explore entirely. But, like, you know, they do change it up a little bit. You know, you're doing the heist or whatever, the Bokoblin base the 3rd time you go to Eldin, and then you're doing the swimming, which is kind of annoying, but you're doing the swimming in Farron the 3rd time you go there, and a 3rd in prison fight first. But if the only real thing that I wish they changed, really, that wasn't changed, was just like, could there have been a way to do a, like, merge in prison 2 and 3? Maybe even merge in prison 1 and 2, and then just have in prison 3 be in prison 3. Maybe? I mean, the only thing that would be a side effect to that is you wouldn't get as much good character development with Groose, because first time you fight in prison, he's, like, terrified out of his mind. Second time, he's actually being really helpful. Third time, he continues to be helpful, but then you run into the issue of, like, the road crumbling, and it's like, oh no, what do I do? I still think you maybe could have done that with the second fight, and just, like, oh shit, I feel pretty useful now. That said, it's not the hardest fight, especially after you learn, like, after you watch speedruns of the game, and you learn you can just jump on the thing's head, then it really trivializes the fight. Imprisoned, once you know you don't have to fuck with the toes, is fine. It's just, a lot of people don't know that, and so they have to do the toes 3 Well, 9 times, essentially, because you got to knock him down 3 times. And for those people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the Imprisoned sucks, but you can jump on his head. So, you know, I don't know where the blame there necessarily falls. Maybe both. Maybe try experimenting with the fight, but then again, the game doesn't necessarily teach you that that's something you can do. Like, most of the boss fights are pretty one way to beat them. Maybe Girahim is like the most dynamic fight in the game, but like Scaldera, it's just bombs and sword. What's the scorpion's name? I don't remember. Regardless, that thing, sword and sword. Gus Bellows a little bit, but mostly sword. And then you have First Imprisoned. Then you have Koloktos. Okay, Koloktos is cool because there's not a variety of ways to fight it, but it's just a really cool boss fight where you use the whip to steal its weapon from it, and they're just fucking massive weapons. It's like Wind Waker all over again, and it's beautiful. One of the best boss fights, if not the best boss fight in all of Zelda history. Might be that, depending on your preference, of course. But for me, I would say Koloktos is up there. Like, top 10 Zelda moments. Number 2, maybe, would be Koloktos. And then you follow that up with one of the worst bosses in Zelda history, though, with, what is it? Tantalus? I want to call it Tantal, but that's only because Xenoblade is dooting my ear right now. Yeah, Tantalus is just big eye monster. Shoot, big eye. Yes, yo. You know what? I will say one thing though that kind of slightly redeems Tantalus, or whatever that thing is. I'm just gonna keep calling it that because I think that's its name, but I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I am. One thing that slightly redeems that game. Holy shit, this is a loud song. Is the fact that there's the whole like ship sinking sequence right before the boss fight. You're looking at your map and you're like, that's the boss room? It's tiny as fuck. What am I gonna do in there? And then you open the door and there's the lighting gets all dark and it's just a small ass little room with an engine in it. And you're like, what the hell is all this? And then the ship starts getting pulverized by giant tentacles, which is probably the start of several anime that I wouldn't have never have seen, of course. But like the whole escape the sinking ship sequence, that's cool. I like that. But then the fight itself is just, it's not great. You know what? I would actually say, because of, I'm gonna consider the ship sequence as part of the fight and use that to levity that fight in a general sense a little bit. I would say, actually, Scaldera is probably the one of the bunch that I like the least. Just because Scaldera is literally just throw bomb and then hit I. You know, not that Tantalus is that much different, other than shoot I, then hit I. It's just the ship sequence is pretty cool, so I gotta give it that. And you know what? But to be fair, Scaldera had the boulder, Indiana Jones, right before the boss door, but I don't know if I necessarily call that part of the boss fight. I mean, I guess it is, technically, like, lore-wise it is, but, like, you know, you're not through the boss door, so where does the discrepancy lie? The lie lies with the hot chip and die, which is what all boys do. But yeah, Skyward Sword in a general sense is a really good game. It's got probably one of the best stories out of any Zelda game. And the music was the first time we got a fully, like, orchestrated Zelda soundtrack. And I quite like that. I quite like that, actually. You know, it's just okay. It's just okay. This is the best way to play Skyward Sword. 60 FPS good. And trying to think, anything else I can really say? Button controls were surprisingly good. I think I already said all those things though. So I think that means when we start to loop a little bit, I think that's means it's time to move on to number 3, which is Bowser's Fury for me. Now you might be saying, well, hang on, this was part of a 2-pack. Where's Super Mario 3D World? Yeah, Mario 3D World is good. And you know what? I guess I didn't include Mario 3D World as part of my my 8 here. So if I would have included 3D World Remake as like a separate thing, 3D World maybe would have punched out WarioWare. I don't know. But that said, Bowser's Fury on its own is... Oh! What? Where did this come from? It's basically Mario 3D World's graphic engine, but then it's Mario Odyssey. To a slight extent, I guess. Maybe not quite to the same thing, but it's the most open world Mario that there is. Which is weird to say. Like, Odyssey's got some sprawling environments that I would not call open world. They're just big, right? I mean, you could go wherever you want in the level, so I guess by that extension it's open. Like, there's very little gating in Mario Odyssey. Bowser's Fury, I guess to some extent there is a little gating. It's just you have to progress the story, quote unquote, by fighting Bowser a set amount of times before you can go to different islands, but once you unlock the full map, you can just go in between islands as you please. Or if you're a sane person, you'll just get all 5 cat shines on one island at a time and then move on. I guess technically the game kind of doesn't want you to do that though, because the next cat shine doesn't appear until you leave the area. So you kind of have to fling back and forth between 2 different areas before you like leave that section entirely. But, you know, that said, Bowser's Fury, really good. Gave some character to Bowser Jr., which was strange. Probably not necessary, but it was fine. I liked the painting he did of scary Bowser when he was trying to explain to pissed off tiny Mario. It's what can I say about Bowser's Fury that hasn't been said this year? And to be honest, there's probably not much I can say about any of these games that hasn't been said too much. But Bowser's Fury in and of itself was just like, I don't know if it's the perfect Mario game because it's a little short. There's exactly 120 cat shines if I recall correctly, just like, you know, Mario 64 or Sunshine, but they're not quite as rewarding as gaining a Power Star or a Shine Sprite. It's not to say that they're quite the levels of Mario Odyssey Power Moons. It's kind of somewhere in between. But, I mean, 3D World itself is a really good game that I'm glad we got a second, like a lot of people gave a second shot. It was more, we wanted the 3D Mario that was Odyssey. That was what a lot of us wanted. And then after we got Odyssey, most of us were pretty full. Like we ate good that day. And then Nintendo's like, hey, you want some dessert? And we're like, I don't really have room for dessert, but it does look delicious, so let me try this anyways. And then people were like, actually, holy shit, this is good. I always had room for this. And that's the story of Super Mario 3D World coexisting with Odyssey. In reality, I like 3D World not in the same way that I like Mario Sunshine or Galaxy or Odyssey, but I do highly regard 3D World base game very highly. It's a fantastic Mario experience, multiplayer. The new Soup games, New Soup Wii and New Soup Wii U, they were pretty good as well, but there's just something particularly special about the 3D environment that really gets me good with the 4-player. And you know what? I almost forgot, but it's a good thing I started talking about multiplayer because, oh God, I just adjusted my way that I was sitting and I just gave myself a leg cramp. Ow. Hang on, I gotta get up. Get up, get down with the sickness. I need a new chair. That hurt as fuck. Oof. Okay, I think I'll live, maybe. Ow. Here's what I can say about 3D World that I hadn't already said. I'll live. Here we go. Now I'm sitting in a comfy spot. Okay. The online was really, really good. What? That's not like online for a Nintendo game. What? No, you can't do that right. You're not allowed to. But you did. You did it right, and you did it real good. Like what? 3D World's online was not Microsoft PowerPoint. It was really good, which kind of continued eventually later with Mario Party, which we'll be talking about in just a second, but, give me a second. The 3D World's online was fantastic. I played with a dude from Texas, my roommate, and myself. The three of us, no lag, not really. Well, there might have been a little bit. I don't remember. I streamed that, so you can fact check me on that if you really want. But as I recall, it was mostly stable. Maybe just a couple of hiccups. I do remember I ended up leaving after the stream when I was playing with those guys, and the game let them continue playing despite me being the host of the room. I mean, the save data didn't really amount to anything. Like, they were just doing levels that were getting saved to the void. I didn't get to keep the progress they made or anything like that, but it was still really surprising that turned out so good, the online. Bowser's Fury doesn't have online, and I didn't really play too much of the co-op. Co-op Bowser, but what I did play, co-op Bowser's Fury feels like Sonic and Tails from Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, right? Like, Mario is doing all the work, and then you got your Tails, which is, in this case, Bowser Jr. And Bowser Jr. is kind of broken as fuck. Player 1 can control everything that Bowser Jr. could do by, using the gyro reticle thing, if you really wanted to. So it's not like you were getting bonus content there, necessarily. But, that said, Bowser's Fury was just fantastic. I would recommend the Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury bundle to anyone solely on the premise of both these games together are well worth your $60. I don't know if it would ever happen, but if Bowser's Fury were to be sold on its own for, let's say, $20, definitely. If it was sold for $30, then I would be a little bit more, maybe not. The only thing with that is Bowser's Fury is only 10, no, not even 10 hours. It's well, actually, it might have been about 10 hours. It was only 3 streams for me. No, I don't think it was quite that long. It might have been 6 hours. But Base 3D World is a pretty meaty game. There's a lot of content there. So at the very least, if you're not interested in Bowser's Fury for some reason, Base 3D World is good. I recommend it. Do it. Buy it. It's good game. Good game. And online is good. Okay, next game. Mario Party. We're going to continue talking about the online because the Mario Party Superstars is back. Oh, Mario Party is back, baby. Yes. Holy shit. I'm way more excited than I should be. Also, this is a really crusty logo. This was the best I could find. I'm sorry that you have to have white artifacting around the logo. That said, Mario Party Superstars is what we all wanted in a Mario Party game. Can we all just collectively, as a class, on the count of 3, just say it with me, class. Mario Party was what we wanted. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I fucking hate this game. No, I love this game. I love Mario Party Superstars. It is genuinely everything I always wanted. And maybe, well, I would say a little bit more, but it is lacking in some aspects. So it's at least everything I wanted. You know, you give me Mario Party 2, 2 boards from Mario Party 2, 2 boards from Mario Party 1, 1 board from Mario Party 3. I've never played Mario Party 3. There's a couple of Mario Parties I skipped out on entirely, being 3, 9, and actually that's pretty much it, except for like the like advanced one. And I think I did play the DS one. I might have played all the 3DS ones. I'm not really sure there. But anyways, Mario Party 3 was like the only like main console one that's like good that I skipped out on entirely. The only reason I say that is because, you know, we don't talk about Mario Party 9, I guess. And I know why we don't talk about it. It's just, you know, I can't talk about it, so I'm not going to. But that said, when Top 100 came out in 2016, I think it was, a lot of journalists, and kind of myself included, were under the impression, shit. They just wasted this really good idea of having a collection of Mario Party minigames from Mario Party 1 through 10, and then they just fucking blew it on some 3DS title after the 3DS was like dead because the Switch was out. Might have been, I think the Switch was out, so yeah, it would have had to have been 2017 or later at that point, if that's true. But we were all like under the impression that we're not going to be getting this, which is kind of why when I came back to streaming this year, why I started with Mario Party Superstars. Oh, I'm sorry, Mario Party the Top 100. That's why I streamed that game, because I was like, well, I need something that's fun that I like to do. And Mario Party was something that I had been playing a lot with my friends, and it continues to be. Mario Party itself is a weirdly social thing for me. It's just a game, but in some regards, I don't consider it as one. Like, it is, but like, it's become such a social activity that I play it with people that don't typically even play games, that it's like, wait, no, this is what you would call a video game. Yeah, I need to put this on my list because it's really good. And, you know, the visuals, they cream of the crap on the visuals. I mean, Mario Party 10 was a really good looking game on Wii U. And Mario Party 9, for what it was worth. I've never played it myself, but I've seen some things. It looks pretty good for a Wii game. Very obviously a Wii game, but it looked pretty good. And then 10 comes out, and 10 is gorgeous. But it was just a shame that was such a mediocre game filled to the brim with cars, Bowser, and Amiibo board. But, you know, then we kind of started stepping back in the right direction with Super Mario Party. Yep. Confused by the name yet? It's not this game. It's not Mario Party Superstars, but Super Mario Party, which came out on Switch like 2 years ago, I think. And Super was good. It was a step in the right direction, but I do have problems with it. Mainly being, I don't like stars being 10 coins. That's a preference thing, I guess. But I feel like you shouldn't just be able to easily afford them. I think 2 minigame wins is more reasonable, or 2 minigame wins, or just a good amount of blue spaces, I guess. Or just some luck somewhere in there as well. That seems more reasonable for a star than a single minigame win, unless they reduced the amount of money you were getting from minigames, but I don't think they did. And also the problem with Super for me was just the boards were extremely tiny. You would loop those boards probably on average 2 or 3 times. And that's if you rolled bad. Like with the right amount of turns, which generally for me is the 20 turn classic game. I would say, yeah, you probably loop that board quite a lot in Super Mario Party. Mario Party Superstars, you could do if you got lucky rolls. If you had really good like dice block rolls from the triple dice, or just good rolls in general, I guess, you might be able to make like a 3-lapper happen on certain boards. And there are like shortcuts you can take, I guess, to circumvent the boards being so massive. But I prefer the boards being that massive because it gives room for everyone to be like separate and kind of doing their own thing to some extent. Like when the game when you first start a game of Mario Party, it's like, yeah, everyone kind of has the same goal: get 20 coins, get first star. But then after that first star moves, people start to spread out and do their own thing. And with a larger board, that's more fun because it gives you the room to do that, which is what Mario Party Superstars does and Super Mario Party doesn't do. So this is a good. This one right here. This is a good. The minigame collection is top 100 again. I believe there's actually 104. But it mostly pulls from top 100. So if you played that, you probably played most of the minigames. But I say most because there were some notable exceptions that were not in top 100 that are here. Dungeon Duos. Excuse me. Did you hear something? I didn't. Dungeon Duos is in the new version, which is fucking fantastic. And it wasn't in top 100, which was less than fantastic. But there's also like they cut some of the bullshit. Like I haven't played every minigame yet in Mario Party Superstars, but like the sea urchin one that was in my video that I did for Mario Party, top 100, the one that like made me like angry, that one's not in Superstars at all. Thank God. RNG minigames are on the lower end of Super Mario Party. It's mostly skill, and I think that's good. But, you know, the only thing that is maybe left out that if you watched my stream of Mario Party, you would have heard Jerry say, and I think I have to agree, which is the complete lack of Super Mario Party minigames. Yep, there's not a single minigame from Super Mario Party. It's only Mario Parties 1 through 10. Which, you know, fair. That's the legacy right there, Mario Party 1 through 10. There's no need to do, like, you know, all the spin-off Mario Parties. A spin-off of a spin-off party game. Yes, good. That said, this is not only the best Mario Party in years because of the recent releases, but this might single-handedly be the single best Mario Party package. Like, that's not me trying to exaggerate and suck the game's cock. That's like being completely genuine. Like, this, I see very little reason if you are interested in playing Mario Party as a social event with your friends, and you're like, well, should I get Dolphin, get Mario Party 6? Mario Party 6 is good. That's my personal favorite. But I do think the value of Mario Party is best with this game right here. If you have never played and you're looking to get into the fun, this is the best place to be, and will likely remain a center point for me as well, even though I still do think I like 6 more than I like Super. Sorry, not Super. Well, yes, Super, but this game, Superstars. Yeah, the name is confusing as fuck. You know, even though I might like 6 more, I would still say that this is going to be in rotation to be a common thing, solely just for the online being fantastic. Not only is it not Super Smash Bros. PowerPoint, but it's also, if you drop out because you do happen to have lag, which you may have seen, again, if you watch my stream, Caleb, he lost connection from me at the beginning of the next turn. Him and his girlfriend, who were both on the same console, were able to join back into the online game, who was being controlled by AIs while they were absent. Fucking fantastic. Sure, it blows they got to miss one minigame, but like most of Mario Party is kind of sitting around waiting anyways. So they really didn't miss too much. And the fact that they were able to rejoin with no problems for me and Jerry and no problems for them, fucking chef's kiss. It's beautiful. This is hands down the best Mario Party. The only other complaint I can maybe muster, if we're just going full sicko bitch mode, is, 10 character roster ain't great, but I guess it could be worse. Like, we got Daisy, we got Wario, we got Waluigi, we got Birdo. Oh, okay. We got some good picks, but like Toad is missing, who isn't really like he's a board host, but you could have easily made that like Toadsworth, like Mario Party 7 did, and have Toad be playable. And then even then, like Toadette is the actual like star like distributor in that game, so okay. So Toad and Toadette not playable. That's a little bit of a bummer for some. For what it's worth, Super Mario Party actually had kind of a really good cast. That's the only other thing that I can think about. Like, I will say, as much as I don't love Super Mario Party, I'm curious to see if, similar to 3D World and Odyssey kind of being able to coexist, if maybe we can create, we as a society that we all live in, if we can create a world that Superstars and Super Mario Party can coexist, because they're kind of different games when you think about it. Super also had the like character dice, which was kind of, that's what every one of my friends that were like, well, what do you like about Super? They generally first say, I like having the different character dice, even though kind of similarly to WarioWare, it kind of creates tier lists in a sense, which is not usually fun for like a casual Super Party fun game. But, to a lesser extent though, the tier lists aren't so drastic like it might be for like Smash Brothers, maybe. That I wouldn't say it comes out to be that big of an issue. I quite enjoy this game. I've tried to get several of my friends involved in this. Jacob, who's in chat, will be laughing at me right now because he knows how much I've been like, come on, play Mario Party, please. And the only reason I'm trying to do that is just because it's just a fun experience with friends for those who have never experienced Mario Party. It's chaotic. There's a reason why some people call it the friendship killer, but it's genuinely just a lot of fun. I couldn't recommend this game more to anyone who, I mean, hell, if you don't want to play with friends, there's online against randos too, and there's bots. I wouldn't generally recommend playing this with people that you don't know, but if you just want to see what it's all about, I guess it wouldn't hurt if you really wanted to see. The experience is fun. I highly recommend it. There's a reason that I've gushed on about this for like fucking 20 minutes now. I don't know if it's been that long, but it's been a while. So let's go ahead and conclude by saying, yes, best Mario Party maybe of all time, but it's not Metroid Dread. My top game of this year, to no one's surprise probably, is Metroid Dread. Thankfully, it was nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, which start in like an hour, but I'm not going to be covering those, so oops. That said, of course I hope Metroid Dread wins that, but in the end I don't care if it does or doesn't, because for me it is my favorite game of the year, and while maybe some awards that kind of recognize it would seem cool, there's a lot of good games out there. I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about It Takes Two, maybe potentially taking it if it was like a vote thing. That's what I'm seeing most online, but for me, Metroid Dread did it for me, and that's Also, just because I play first-party Nintendo games nearly exclusively. Nearly! Metroid Dread was a surprise to everyone. No one saw this coming. If you saw this coming, you're a liar. And you might want to check your pants and call 911 because they are on fire. Metroid Dread not only came out of nowhere, was the canceled fifth Metroid game that was hinted in Prime 3. That was like, Project Dread is near completion. And then when they interviewed the director of Metroid, he's just like, I couldn't do what I wanted with the game. I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. I couldn't finish it. And then he did. He finished it. Fucking 15 years later. Was it worth it? Was it worth the wait? Hell yeah. Hell yes. This game is mind-blowingly fantastic. It controls so succulently, buttersly smooth. It is crazy what the people of speedrunning can do without the need of like I'm sure there are some like clips and glitches, like getting out of bounds to sequence break a little bit, but just even if you're not doing that, the game wants you to speedrun to a certain extent because it has rewards like concept art, but it's still rewards that are locked behind beating the game under a certain amount of time. And I think the fastest the game wants you to beat it is like 2 or 3 hours. For me, my first playthrough, that was 10 hours of being alive. Because when the game first came out, it didn't count your deaths as part of that timer. So who knows how much time I actually have in that game? I don't know. It's just so fantastic. The way Samus controls is brilliant. I remember at E3, I kind of was like, I don't know how I feel about this game visually. It's because it was an in-development game. Come on, I should have known, but I didn't. And when the game came out, of course it looked beautiful. It launched alongside the OLED, which I don't have. I don't have an OLED TV. Actually, no, we do have one in the living room, but I didn't play Dread on that, really. Maybe just a little bit. Even without it, though, Dread looks fantastic. I think that game runs in 60 FPS. I think it does. I don't recall that information offhand, though. Also, this Angel Island remix, sorry to detract a little bit, but what the fuck? On my playlist, it says this is from Mario and Sonic at the Sochi Olympic Games, but, like, this is the remix that's in Smash. Fuck you. Reusing assets. No, it's fine. I like this song, though. Anyways, Metroid is not a game that I considered myself a fan before this year, which we'll come to see when I do my top 10 streams in just a little bit here. Metroid was something that, like, I played Prime on stream 2 years ago, and otherwise didn't like Metroid 1 on NES. Never really played too much of Super. I have played it, but barely. And then Fusion I own, but barely played. I actually have the cartridge, like, right behind me. I have it on GBA. Had it since I was a kid. Never really got into it, though. But did hold on to it. And I'm glad I gave Metroid a second chance earlier this year with Zero Mission, when I streamed that off of the Wii U Virtual Console. Because that made me want a new Metroid. And at the time when I streamed that, obviously Dread wasn't announced, so I was just streaming it for fun. I was not expecting this game to come out this year, and like it did, and then like it was announced and then came out like fucking 4 months later. Like it was a very short announcement to release window, and that's fine because this game, I don't know if I could have taken it if I would have known I had to wait for something this good. Granted, going into the game, I wasn't really like super hyped for it. It wasn't even a day one purchase for me. It was like within the first week or so. But once I started playing, I was hooked. Like, I finished it within 2 days. Like, seriously, this game gripped me that hard. I think I even like canceled some streams just so I could continue playing the game. Like, it was good. I considered streaming it, but it oversaturated on Twitch. That's generally my thing. I don't usually play new releases anyways. But that said, a Dread stream will happen one day because the game is also insanely replayable. I've already replayed it a couple of times. It's good. Hard mode is fucking balls, but, you know, it's fun. The animations are good. I've got some good gamer theories about, like, Adam in that game, the AI Adam, and, like, what the hell's going on with him in that game. Why is he so, like, sketchy? I mean, I think the game kind of makes it pretty obvious, so my theories aren't anything too special, but, you know, why is Kraid there? I've got gamer theories about that. All these things I'll talk about in a place where maybe a more spoiler-filled discussion would be more acceptable. And you know what? For what it's worth, it did a story as well. Dread had a little bit of a story to it. It wasn't just go to planet shoot thing. It was, no, you go to story and there's like exposition, there's cutscenes. It's not Xenoblade, but you know, you're actually sitting there learning about like the fucking bad guy and like how like they're like weird and evil and how there's like the one chorizo dude like halfway through the game who's like cool as fuck and then rip, but you know it's just an overall fantastic package that I have to say. I've only played 2D Metroids at this point. I've not played Super. Everyone loves Super, so we'll see what I feel about that game when I get to streaming it, probably sometime within the next year. But that said, Metroid Dread ended up becoming my favorite Metroid game and my game of the year this year. So yeah, that's my top 5. To recap, we've got WarioWare, which was a game that I mostly was lukewarm on, but I didn't play enough games to have much other contenders. So, you know, by nature of a top 5, the bottom one has to be a bottom. Skyward Sword, that's definitely a Switch, because it's on the Switch, as all these games are. But, no, Skyward Sword was pretty good. I think anyone who hasn't played Skyward Sword, you definitely should. Bowser's Fury, come on. It's like, it in some ways might be one of the best 3D Mario experiences. I still personally think it's probably nostalgia that does it to me, but I like Sunshine more. But Bowser's Fury, good. Mario Party Superstars, that's very super of you to have made such a fucking fantastic game. And then Metroid Dread is, well, as I just had stated, just one of the best games on the Switch. In general, like maybe one of the best games on the Switch. I don't know if it'd be my number 1 on Switch, but it could be. So I do have one honorable mention for the top 5 that isn't one of the 8 releases that I played because it's kind of in like a weird gray area. Where the fuck do you slot this in? Is this a new release or is this old shit? I don't know. But Caves and Cliffs came out no more than like 9 days ago, and it earned its keep to already be on here. Part 2 did anyways. Part 1 came out like 6 months ago, like the first half of the update, and that added a lot of blocks which were cool and some cool ideas, but the big thing is the generation of Minecraft world being completely overhauled. I've got some fantastic screenshots, which actually, now I'm sitting here thinking about it, I should just fucking show you some of these ones I took earlier. Optifine recently got updated, so I took some screenshots of some things. It might be a little dark, but here's a screenshot. Whoops. Just accidentally removed that image. Where'd it go? No idea. It's gone. Okay, bye. Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye. I think I accidentally deleted it. Whoops. Well, you got to see it for like a frame. Here's a cave I found. Check this out. Look at that cave. I'm like standing at like negative fucking 42 or something at this coordinate. That cave is going all the way up to like 120, I think? Like, this thing is tall as fuck, and it's so cool. The caves and the cliffs are all good. Here is another one. Wait, that's the same screenshot, I think. Yes, it is. Another one. I think I took another screenshot of this same cave, but from a different angle. Which is this screenshot here. And yeah, it's cool. It's a little dark, sorry about that. Should have slapped on like night vision or something, but I also found a spider jockey. So, very cool. But yeah, fucking Caves and Cliffs update is really fun. So much to the point that like I'm seeing a lot of people streaming Minecraft again because of this update. And like I'm seeing a lot of my friends that don't typically play Minecraft. Like they do a little bit. Like my sister, for example, she messaged me being like, yo, I bought a server. You want to play? And I'm like, well, hang on, I already paid for a server, so you didn't need to do that. But like, she was so invested into the idea of playing the game that she just went and did it on her own. She has other friends that she's playing with is ultimately what it came down to. But you know, it's really, really ghoul. Ghoul? Yeah. I mean, there's no ghouls. There's ghasts, but no ghouls in Minecraft. It's cool, the generation. I like it a lot. It kind of sucks that I've realized that my graphics card cannot handle Minecraft at the moment. And that's mostly a me thing. I'm working on getting an upgrade from my shitty GTX 980 into something quite a bit more recent. Gonna start saving for that, doing some voluntary overtime to make up for it. But, you know, it's not important right now. What is important to say is that Caves and Cliffs is kind of weird in that I don't necessarily think it's top 5 material, which is why it's here under honorables, but it's also something I wanted to just briefly talk about and say, if you don't play Minecraft, and let's say maybe you are interested in giving it a shot, this is the biggest, most substantial update. Or maybe it's been a while since you played Minecraft. This is the best time to come back because everything's going to really feel like a whole new game. Maybe in some extent it might even feel too much. I could see people saying that, but give it a shot. See what you think for yourself. For me, I haven't played it too much yet, but I really like this update, and I'm excited to see the next update as well. The warden looks cool, but there's a reason why this update took over a year to come out, and why the next update is looking like they're going to be a little less ambitious with it. I mean, there's still some cool stuff coming, but like, the warden was supposed to be part of this update, so if it says anything on like just how much of an undertaking it must have been at Mojang to develop the game to still be stable despite this new terrain, I think this is the thing that determines that. So there you go. That is my top 5 releases of 2021. Now, the podcast ain't over yet.
Show ain't over yet, folks.
Welcome to my top 10 streams of 2021. That's right, it took me an hour to talk about 5 games. Get ready for 2 hours of 5 more games. I mean 10, actually, because that's how numbers work. No, I probably won't be quite as extensive with these, but let me explain what's going on here and why we're talking about games I streamed. Because I played a lot of games this year on my stream. This is the first year so far of me streaming. I started back in like 2017 or so is when I like actively started streaming. But even then, I never really was active. I would maybe do like 2 a week. In 2021, I, for some reason, started feeling motivated to stream again, to the point where I kept a consistent schedule of advertised 3 a week, which turned into 5. Now it's advertised 4, and usually about 4. I'm making sure to give myself time off so I don't go insane talking about Pringles cans and Todsons. But that said, there are some games that didn't come out this year that I played, which is primarily games that I stream. I didn't really play too many games off of stream. I said this at the beginning of the podcast, but I'll say it again. I only played 3 games off stream all year. 3. Minecraft, Animal Crossing, which I did also stream, and I guess I kind of streamed Minecraft a little bit, but that's a little different. And Metroid Dread. That's it. Everything else that I played as a video game this year was on this fucking stream, and I recorded it. At least to some... Oh, wait, no. I did play Monkey Ball. You know what? I forgot. I did play Monkey Ball, and I also played Pokemon Snap. Forgot about those games, but I didn't play them very... Well, actually, I did stream Pokemon Snap. I just didn't archive that one, because my quality was really bad, and there's no point. But, regardless, my top 10 streams, this is not necessarily going to be dick stroke. This isn't going to be, these were the top 10 streams that performed the best for me. No, this is, of the games that I played on my stream, which ones were the ones I enjoyed the most. And they didn't all come out this year. In fact, most of them didn't. But let's start with number 10, which is Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised this one made the list. I didn't initially consider it to be a part of this list. But Radiant Dawn, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, of course, but it ended up being a game that was a little too long for me. I wasn't ready for how long it was, but after I took some time to digest what I played, it might be one of the best Fire Emblems. I was talking to my friend Kenzie about this game the other day because he messaged me on Discord showing me screenshots from my stream asking me why I didn't name a sword Goon Sword. I don't remember this event, but apparently I typed it in and then backed away from it. This was an event that happened on one of the streams, and Kenzie was like, why? First of all, I'm like, why are you watching my old shit? What the fuck? Second of all, good game. I think my favorite part about the story of this game, again, without going into spoilers, is that it played a lot with my expectations. Ike wasn't as much of a main character as I thought he was going to be. I mean, he is, but not quite in the same way I thought he was going to be. And if you haven't played the game, I guess I'll keep it as vague as that. But as for, like, the war that happens throughout the game, because of course it's Fire Emblem, of course there's a war. That's not a spoiler. For the war, it was really interesting to see, like, it wasn't just good guy versus bad guy, which Fire Emblem is generally pretty good at. But I think Radiant Dawn especially does it well in that, like, it's like the sides are kind of conflicting in the sense that you, the player, kind of get to control a little bit of both sides. And then on top of that, you know, both sides are like pretty good. So it's not really like you don't really know who the real good guys are, right? Like, it's not obvious necessarily at first. It kind of becomes after time, but it's not obvious to begin with who, like, is going to win this war, which is really unique. They kind of tried to do something similar with Fire Emblem Fates, but I mean, that ended up just being whatever side Corrin is on is the winner. But Radiant Dawn doesn't exactly have that, like, one definitive, you are the main character. in the same sense. So, like, it's kind of up in the air. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a little dated in the aspect that the game is slow as fuck. And, of course, me being a mostly casual Fire Emblem fan, having to reset is hard. But I ended up going through the game with resetting after every death. Which, if you watch part 1, which I recently did because I was trying to make a comp out of it, but I kind of scrapped the idea. If you watch part 1, I specifically said, oh, I'm not going to reset if characters die. I'm not going to care that much. And then literally, not a single character was dead. The only thing that I really missed in Radiant Dawn was I never got Meg. Rip Meg. Meg. Pretty good music, I would say. Not the highs of Fire Emblem. There's a couple of standout tracks like The Devoted. What's the one with the fucking Power Hungry Fool? That's a good one. Like any track that's like pertaining to like Ike is pretty good in that game. And then there's like the one song that plays on Alencia's Gambit at the end of part 2 of the game, not of my stream. At the end of part 2 of the game, and that song I remember being pretty good. I don't remember what that one was called though. But in a general sense, some of the earlier battle themes kind of don't stick out to me. It's just generic war music to me. Fight! Honor me! But it's not bad, I guess. Nintendo's generally pretty good at not making bad soundtracks, and this is Intelligent Systems, but, you know, still pretty much Nintendo. But yeah, this game, it ended up earning its top 10 placement. And originally I was going to have Skyward Sword here, but I think I ended up digesting both games a little more, and this one came out on top. So, honorable mention to Skyward Sword, but I've already talked about it, so no need to go into further depth. Let's talk about number 9 now. How about we? Pokemon Yellow.
My daddy loves Pokemon too.
So this game was a surprise to myself. If you watch older streams of mine, you might have heard me say in the past that I don't think I like Pokemon. And I don't know entirely where that came from in hindsight. Probably just me being a little ignorant, truthfully. But, you know, I played this game with the intention of covering it in a video that I was in the middle of working on. And, you know, while I kind of dropped that video a little bit, I'm still kind of working on that thing. If you know, you know. If you don't, well then, Incredibles meme. That said, you know, Pokemon Yellow is a pretty okay game. I'm just gonna say it like that. It's buggy as fuck. It's, well, not buggy as fuck, but there are definitely some problems with it. It's not aged well in a lot of aspects. But I went into the game knowing that, so I didn't come out of the game frustrated, necessarily. I think I was in some aspects, but, like, these are all things that get addressed with later installments in the Pokemon game. And I deliberately chose to stream this version of Generation 1 because I wanted to see where Pokemon got its start. Now, some might argue I should have done Red and Blue for that, but, you know, kind of a more definitive edition, and also I like my chunky Pikachu guy that broke my eardrums and had very bad audio compression. This was a good game for me. I wouldn't say it's a great game. It definitely, like I said, hasn't aged the best. But if you go into it with that perspective of just trying to kind of be almost a gaming historian in a loose sense, be like, oh, I want to learn more about this series, see where it got its humble start, and yeah, I can see where people got their enjoyment out of it. When I go to stream my next Pokemon game, which might be the Diamond and Pearl remakes, I still don't know that. Or it could be Pokemon Black. Regardless, as I just pretty much said, it doesn't necessarily have to be the first version of the game. It was more I wanted to do that just to see where it got its full start. Now I'm kind of more okay with playing the remakes that are like the more definitive version, which Diamond and Pearl is a little bit of a gray area, which is why I might not make that choice yet. You know, I've heard that Platinum is the best version of Gen 4, but I've also heard that Platinum itself is more enjoyable with the context of playing base game Diamond and Pearl. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but a number of my friends actually said those pretty much exact words. And so that's why Diamond and Pearl is like gray area. If I am to play Diamond and Pearl, I would play the remake. But if I'm just going to experience Generation 4 for Generation 4 and like not get super into it, I would do Platinum. But that said, you know, I had to put a lot of time into this game in order to have the stream flow nice. It was the most grindy game I played this year, unfortunately. There was a lot of that, but you know, I've kind of come around a little bit on grinding over this last couple of months and come to realize it's not as bad as I think it is. It's just the process of devoting time to it. But once I can like actually schedule that, it's fine. It's playing a video game. It's fun. That's what it's kind of supposed to be. You play the video game to have the fun. Everything is grind. I don't really know what more to say about Pokemon Generation 1 other than it was cool to see what the hype was. I am not a Gen 1er. I will not be a Gen 1er. I will not become that. I fully still believe that Black and White was a fantastic game. I always have felt that way. It's just I didn't care for X. And then I didn't really try Sun and Moon at all, and never really experimented too much with the series. But sometime within, I'm not going to give a specific amount of months, but within this year, I'm going to cover another Pokemon game. It might be a game that if I continue to stream for a long time, the Pokemon series might be something I check out once a year. Just because, and this might change if the future games are less grindy, but if, for the most part, I still have to do that amount of grind, it was still time-consuming, so I can't exactly become a PokeTuber with my current lifestyle outside of streaming. But that said, I enjoyed my time. This was worth my time, and, you know, in the end, I learned Mewtwo last week, so deal with it. Animal Crossing New Horizons is number 8. This is an ongoing stream. I'm not done with this game, but I think there's another stream on here that I have that I'm not done with as well. But that said, Animal Crossing is one of my favorite games of all time that I keep forgetting to put on lists when I say what are my top 5 games of all time. It's fucking Animal Crossing. Why do I always forget it? I don't know. In a loose sense, it's kind of like Mario Party, where in my brain, I don't necessarily consider it the same kind of gaming, but it is still a game by definition, and, you know, there's no doubt about it. It is a game. It's just for some reason my brain is like, huh? Oh yeah, I guess it is a game. It kind of just becomes routine for me sometimes when I'm really into it. Lately, I've been falling off the Animal Crossing a little bit on my own time, but I still would like to finish the Happy Home Paradise stuff. I think that most recent update was fantastic. There's still a lot I haven't seen. I still don't have Froggy Chair, I'm patiently awaiting the day I find Froggy Chair. But, you know, Animal Crossing is good. I have clocked well over 450 hours into the game now. Like, that alone should speak to how much I really like this game. Like, not even... Let me be real with you right now. You know that one personality trait, that one game that's my one personality trait? Xenoblade? I've replayed Xenoblade 2 twice. And did Torn of the Golden Country. Not even that amount of playtime adds up to my playtime of 2 towns of Animal Crossing. 2.5. I did a little bit of like 20 hours on a town that I didn't end up progressing with. But, you know, 300 hours with a single town and another 100 hours with this town right here and counting, you know, like, fuck. It says something if I really like the games. Animal Crossing, if you're not into it, understandable. It can be a commitment in some aspects. The game doesn't punish you as hard for not playing every day, like some of the past games used to. And, you know, for me, sometimes when I play this game for my daily play, which lately I've been missing a couple, but when I play for some of the days, it's literally just 10 minutes. It's find my money tree and then log off. Like plant a new one, collect the old one. That's, you know, that's sometimes my day with Animal Crossing. But that said, you know, it's good. It's relaxing. It's fun. It becomes something. I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to use it. It becomes something therapeutic almost. In the sense that it's comfort, you know? It's comfy to play the game for half hour right before bed while I'm lying in bed even. Fall asleep while playing it sometimes. You know, it's good to unwind with it. It's just cute, fun thing. Do a couple of things, build around. Like I said, the update, real good. I love the Happy Home designing. I did not play 3DS Happy Home Designer, which is why this is like extra cool to me, because it's my first time experiencing Animal Crossing quite like that. And the designing aspect of the homes, I think, might be my favorite aspect of Animal Crossing, much to the same way why I like Minecraft so much. And, yeah, this is also just... It's a good game that lets you do a lot of creative stuff if you want to. Or it could just be a relaxing game about watching your cute villagers play with cat towers and then selling raiment on the black market. What? I didn't say that out loud. That's pretty much all I have to say about Animal Crossing. When it came out, you know, one last thing actually. When it came out last year, it came out during the pandemic. I believe I've said this during those streams, but I'll just say it again here. You know, you don't need me to tell you why this game was good for that time, right? Like when the world felt like it was falling apart for a lot of us, this game was there. It came out right when a lot of us started getting locked in. And for that was why I put 300 hours so quickly into it, really. But it's still just on its own a fantastic game, and the updates only made it better. In my opinion, New Horizons is the best Animal Crossing. You can fight me on that if you want. I used to say New Leaf, but it's the creative options and the ways that you can customize outside of town and don't have to pay 3,200 bells for a bench outside. And like how you can choose where you and your villagers live instead of having to worry about Cherry moving in front of your door. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Stream number 7, Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards.
Hang on, I need a drink right now. I've been talking for like an hour and a half straight. Game Awards begins in 5 minutes. I'm aware. I will not be covering the Game Awards here. If you'd like to tune out and start watching that, go ahead. I believe, actually, it's just the pre-show that's starting in 30 minutes, if I'm not wrong. And then real Game Awards starts at 8, but I could be wrong. That said, Kirby 64. It's a fantastic game. Yeah, that is what's happening. Okay, so yeah. If you want to watch Game Awards, there will probably be some announcements at pre-show. So I don't blame you if you want to leave. This stuff will be on Twitch VODs and YouTube, so go if you have to. That said, I guess I'll try to wrap a little quickly. Kirby 64 is a short game. I streamed 2 parts, and that was the entirety of the game, 100% completed. Like a total of like 5 hours, if even. I don't know. It's a fun blast the whole way through. Good moods, not too long, not maybe a little too short, but not really at the same time. I think it's got the perfect length for a game that you can just come down like over a weekend, play through all the way, and then there you go. And you still got plenty of time to do other things too, even. I love the music. It might be one of my favorite N64 games. Majora's Mask definitely is my favorite game of all time, so, you know, that's Nintendo 64. That beats it out, obviously. Ocarina of Time is up there as well, so it'd be a tough battle between Ocarina and this, maybe, for number 2. But, you know, this is a really good game. It's just fun the whole way through. And there's not a whole lot to say about it, other than, if you've never played a Kirby game, they're just fun. They make you smile. They make you say, ha ha, that deity just died. And it's kind of funny. But that said, the worlds, the music, the level design, everything, fantastic. Some weird inclusions in the fact that there are multiplayer games there. But, you know, there's that. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on, really, to number 6, which is Luigi's Mansion. The 3DS version I played this year. I had streamed the original Luigi's Mansion 2 years ago, which that VOD was deleted because I used an emulator. And for like a minute there, I was scared about having emulators on my stream VOD, so I removed them. And now I kind of don't care anymore, but it's gone anyway, so nothing you can do about that, so I restreamed the game. And it was fun. Of course it was. I played the 3DS version, which I had not played before. And what the fuck was the point of this remake? You'll hear me say something similar when I get to Bowser's Inside Story. But, you know, it's fine. You know, it doesn't need to be here. But, you know, it's a good game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, Luigi's Mansion. It's just like Kirby 64, short game. You could easily do that in one sitting. It's like 4 hours. Do it. Fucking play it. Borrow it if you don't own it. Put it on Dolphin if you don't own it. Like, it's fun. You go through the mansion, you suck up the goods, you smell the Luigi, you chase the speedy ghosts, you try to get the A rank. It's fun. It's fun. I really don't have more to say about it, so I'll move on. And this, well, here's my number 5. It's 3D World and Bowser's Fury. You'll never find out what King Boo's spaghetti policy is. That's true. We'll never know what his spaghetti policy is until Luigi's Mansion 4. I guess one thing to say about Luigi's Mansion here is they had Luigi, which I did not get to try. So there's co-op mode in this remake. And it was also like a time travel prequel to Luigi's Mansion 3, in a sense, with having Luigi there. But yeah, I didn't really get to try that. So maybe with a future playthrough, if I ever do that again, I would try that. I'm not gonna really spend any time talking about Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, because I already did. Really, it was... I mean, here's what I'll say. If you missed it before, good game! I liked Bowser's Fury. It's really fucking good. Okay, moving on. Metroid Zero Mission. This is where I got my my foot in the door with 2D Metroid. And it really kicked it off to an excellent start, if I must say. You know, it's Metroid 1, which I didn't like, but then completely redone and made into one of the best games of all time. It takes elements from Super Metroid, as I understand, and it takes some elements from Fusion. I think maybe Fusion came out after, actually. I don't really know. Once you beat the game, you get a ROM version of Metroid NES if you don't want to buy the e-reader, which has the same thing. Or you could also just fucking, you know, buy Metroid NES on Game Boy Advance for some reason. I don't know why you would do that, but the option's there. This game is fantastic. A little difficult for a first-time Metroid player to start with, but I think pretty much every Metroid game is going to be that way. High learning curve, but also just incredibly fun. Not quite as fun as Dread for me, but it is still something that I really liked. I actually, after the stream, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, after the stream of Zero Mission this year, I did play it again off stream on my own time, and I did like a speed run. I got through the game in like 4 hours. Not quite super fast, but I think I got through it faster, I would say, than the original playthrough, and I 100%ed it that time too. Even I will say the only thing I have to complain about that is 100%ing Zero Mission is annoying. Knowing like that you have to like super bomb that one glass tube to get back to like the main area of Zebes is annoying. I did not know that. I had to find a guide. I'll admit that. But you know, in some aspects this game is kind of cryptic. That one God of War developer commenting about Metroid Dread being cryptic. Nah, Dread was pretty... Like, it was fair with the things that it didn't always outright tell you how to do. This game was pretty cryptic. There was the one time when I spent that entire stream not knowing how to progress because I didn't want to look it up until I did. On how you had to, like, boost from different rooms and then the floor beneath you would crumble. Why would I have thought to do that? I don't know. Unless I had already played a different game. Now that I have that information, I know that that's how that works. But the game kind of didn't really tell me that. And if it did, I didn't retain the information. So, if you ever play Fusion, it's more straightforward. I will play Fusion. I'm looking to play all the 2D Metroid games. Probably 2 or 3 of them, genuinely, throughout the course of this next year. Like, I'm on a Metroid kick. I'm in the middle of streaming Prime 2, which I'm liking a lot. Which I streamed Prime 1 2 years ago. I like that a lot as well. But I think I like Prime 1 a lot, but I do think I like the 2D ones more. Which is something I was surprised by because if you would have asked me that when I was streaming Prime 1, I would have said, no, fuck the 2D games. Only because my only experience at that point was Metroid 1 on NES, which I hate. I think that's I mean, it's fine. I guess if you grew up with it, I understand. But for me, never playing the game until I was older, I get lost. The rooms look samey. You die too easy. I don't know where to go. And yeah, Metroid 2 on the Game Boy Color. I have that, actually. I don't have any playtime in it, but I own it on 3DS Virtual Console. if I ever play Metroid 2, which I will, eventually, I will probably play the Mercury Steam Samus Returns, which I hear is good, but not great. It's a good return to form after, like, it would be a good return to form in comparison to, like, the fact that Metroid over the last few years beforehand was kind of, you know, there was, other M, and then there was what's the fucking Federation Force? That is the one. Which, actually, Federation Force isn't even a bad game. It's just, kind of similarly to 3D World. It kind of got the raw end of the stick because we wanted something else, and then they gave us that, and we didn't ask for it. As I understand, anyways. I mean, it's not great like 3D World, I guess, is. It doesn't quite hold up the same way that 3D World now does. But that said, I've heard that Federation Force is fine. Federation Force is better when you do it with multiple people. Okay, I'll keep that in mind if I ever get around to it. Don't know if I will. No current plans. But if I do, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, Zero Mission is fantastic. I highly recommend this game to anyone who hasn't played it. There are games that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. I know I say that a lot for most of the things on this list. Like, oh yeah, of course I recommend it. But, like, there are things that I like that it's like, well, some people I would recommend this to. I like it a lot, but some people I would recommend this to. I wouldn't recommend most people play this game. I personally would recommend more people play Dread. It's because I like that game a lot better. But, you know, this is good too. This is real good. I'm excited to play Super Metroid. That'll probably be the next 2D one that I play. Which, if I'm picking up what I'm putting down based off of everyone's worldwide reviews, might beat out Dread, depending on how much I like it. But we'll see. We'll see. Some people, actually, I heard that are, like, hardcore Metroid fans even also say that Dread is their favorite. So it's like a tough battle between Super and Dread. It's just, I think for some people, they kind of admit that, like, yeah, it's a nostalgia thing that keeps it above. But, like, yeah. Play Dread. Also play this. Sonic Heroes. What the fuck is this game doing on my top 10 list and also at number 3? What the fuck? Did you watch part 2? I said I hate this game. Yeah, fast. Here's what I'll say about this game. This game had the fucking you know how there's that one song in Sonic Adventure that's like up and down and all around? That was my opinion on this game while I was playing it. But it ended up coming out as something that, like, I mean, I don't love this game. It's got a lot of problems. But after I got through the Sonic story and I kind of had an idea of what each level was going to happen for me, I breezed through the dark story, with like barely any problems at all. Chaotix was less annoying than I had recalled that it was. Like, I didn't really have too much issues with Chaotix. The fires were annoying, but even the fires level, I was like chat was like, oh fuck, this is terrible. But even in the end, I was like, no, I'm vibing with this. Weirdly enough, with Sonic Adventure 1, I have often said that it would be a great game if it was just Sonic. Sonic Heroes is Adventure 1 just Sonic except for Chaotix. Like, all the teams kind of are just the Sonic levels of Adventure, right? You don't have the Race Sonic level or the Shoot Things level, which actually I like the 101 levels, but it's beside the point. You don't have Fishing. Oh, yeah, Froggy. Yeah. I mean, Big's there too, but, you know, everything was basically the Sonic levels. The only thing with that is that everyone's playing kind of the same levels. I mean, thematically, yes, definitely. Everyone hits the same 14 levels. They do mix it up. Sonic and Shadow Team are closest in that you play the entirety of the level. Amy levels are fucking ridiculously short. I breezed through it to the point where actually Amy wasn't annoying to play, but it wasn't fun. Like, it was just so easy that I was like, well, I'm going through it because I have to. The ending of the game was actually pretty cool. I had never beaten Sonic Heroes before I streamed this game, and the Metal Sonic fight was cool as hell. I really like the actual "What I'm made of" that, you know, that song. So the phase of the fight that's happening when that's happening, that's really cool. I like the special attack that you get during that. And also, speaking of special attacks, I love just breaking the game with the unintentional special attack glitch. Best feature, totally a feature. I love it. It's good. But yeah, this game really came around on me to the point where after I was done with it, I was like, and still am like, I want to play another Sonic game soon. So I will be. No date on it yet, but you know, really like this game. It's not my favorite. It won't become my favorite, but it's now something that I will recommend to some people. This is one of the games where it's like, I like this game, but I can't recommend it to everyone. Like, you have to be a Sonic fan to like this game, I think. But even then, I really enjoyed my time with it. And it was not annoying to stream. It was very fun. Very enjoyable.
Very nice.
Mario Kart Wii for number 2. This was going to be my number 1, but I put a different game at number 1. So Mario Kart Wii, little did you know, I streamed. I say little did you know, but for some reason on YouTube, it became like my best performing stream archive that I've ever really done. So that's weird. Part 1 has like 60 views. The closest thing to Part 1 Mario Kart Wii is Finale Xenoblade Chronicles Torna. But, you know, beside the point, I'm not really judging this list based off of how well the streams perform, but rather how much I enjoy the games. And Mario Kart Wii, I got salty with, but I like this game a lot. Mario Kart is one of, like, I wouldn't say I'm bad at a lot of games, but I'm not great at most games. Like, I'm not high tier at most games, except for Mario Kart. I will kick anyone's ass in Mario Kart. And so my Mario Kart Wii stream was kind of like, well, how do you get like multiple streams out of Mario Kart? Like, you play all the tracks once and then you're done, right? That was my original idea, but then when I actually began streaming it, I was like, you know what? We're going to do this as a unlock series where I do everything. I get all of the characters, all the star ranking, well, 1-star ranking. 3-starring in Mario Kart Wii is annoying and bullshit. Don't do that. It's not worth your time. I did some, I kind of did like a weird port forward-esque, I don't remember what it was exactly, DNS hack, I believe, to allow my Wii U to connect to this game's servers, which was just full of just Funky Kong. Just Funky Kong, because Mario Kart Wii is a tier list game, where it's like, it's Funky Kong or bust if you're playing seriously. Surprisingly, not too many people actually doing like crazy shortcuts online, mostly because you need mushrooms to do most of them. So unless you got good item RNG, you weren't going to do that. And even if you got a mushroom, you're probably better off not trying the jump, because you don't get a reset button like you would in time trial. But yeah, I enjoyed this game. Mario Kart Wii has a pretty big modding scene that I have not yet checked out, but I will be. So while I did close the book on this stream, if you look on live libraries, there's a definitive part that says finale. I'm not done streaming Mario Kart Wii. I just don't know when I will be able to stream it because I don't know how to do mods yet. I'll start looking into it when I feel the right mood. But I've kind of always been interested to try the Mario Kart Wii modding scene. Mostly just tracks. I don't need custom naked Peach character. I'm fine with that. Without that, rather. But you know, the custom tracks seem like a cool idea. Over the years growing up, I remember early Mario Kart Wii like mod videos. I think there was this dude like PK Sparks or something that was a YouTuber that did Mario Kart Mondays that would show off like custom tracks. I don't know if it was him. I very briefly watched that guy growing up. I haven't watched him in years though. I could be Sonic. That's right. You know, I'll do the custom characters only to play as Sonic in a car. So that way I can finally say I streamed Team Sonic Racing. There's not a whole lot to say about Mario Kart Wii in and of itself, other than bikes are broken, AI is dumb as fuck, and by dumb as fuck I mean bullshit. Like the AI items of crazy. There's some items that are in this game that no longer came back, like the fake item box. I missed that thing. I actually am kind of a fan of the poop cloud that you can sometimes get that zaps you. I kind of like the idea of a bad item that hurts you. That you can sometimes get. I know it's kind of like tripping and brawl, but for a game like Mario Kart, I think an item like that is perfect. Maybe if it came back in a future Mario Kart, they could have a mode where you could turn it off for those that don't like it, but I personally, big fan. Speaking of big, also Giga Mushroom was there. That one I don't really care about. It's just, you get big and you flatten people. Not too interesting. You go a little bit faster and off-roading doesn't quite hurt you as much, but fine. It's fine, that item. It's not bad, it's not great. No, still Blue Shell being a flying thing that didn't fuck everyone in front of it. So there's that as well. But, yeah, what can I say? Mario Kart Wii, good game. Not the best Mario Kart in my book. That would go to either 8 or Double Dash. But this game was a huge nostalgia boner because I had never replayed it in like since before 8 came out or so. Maybe not exactly, but it was a long time before I had played this game again, and I liked it. It was fun. And you know what else is fun? Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Vor Story, which has been it's a game that I'm not done with, but it is, I would call my favorite game that I've played on stream this year. So I'm playing the version, for those that aren't watching that stream, I'm playing the version that includes Bowser's Jr.'s Journey, which is also really fantastic. It is I who nuts to that. Yes, there's that as well. It's been a great game for me to do voice acting. Rip Radianton? No, Radianton I had at number 10. My dude, my fam. See? Right there. Bowser's Inside Story has been a great experience for me. And I'm not done with the game, but it's one of the best RPGs of all time. Lovable characters, great gameplay, and overall, I would say this might be a contender for my favorite RPG, like turn-based. Oh,
Xenoblade is still a video game. We're not gonna forget about that.
But turn-based RPG, this might have the cake for me. I love Paper Mario Thousand Year Door too, Weirdly enough, you wouldn't think that Mario RPG would be like one of the tops, but because you know he's like, woohoo, that's all he do. But you know, it's really good. Mario doesn't say anything. Luigi doesn't really say anything except risotto and spaghetti. That's all they really say. But these games are just fantastic. Everyone else talks. Bowser talks a lot. Bowser, yeah, my voice hates it. And it's just great. And the remake version, at first I was like, this is unnecessary. And even still, like, I have a hard time justifying why some people who have the original, if they're gonna replay the game, should justify it. There is the Bowser Jordan mode. Jordan is fun. We'll talk about Jordan in just a second. I would really only recommend it if you own Bowser's Inside Story already. I would only recommend this version if you're trying to A, just have a new experience, like a new coat of paint, or B, you're interested in Bowser Jordan's Journey, which, if you don't know what that is, that's an entirely different side story that happens alongside the events of Bowser's Inside Story, because everyone, when playing Bowser's Inside Story, had the raging question in their head, what the fuck is happening to Bowser Jr. right now? Where is he? And so they answer that question that we all had. And by all of us, I mean literally none of us. Maybe one. You know what? I bet my friend Caleb was asking. He likes Bowser Jr. But that said, this game is fantastic, Bowser Jr.'s Journey as well. But it's a different game. Make no mistake, it is not the same type of game as Bowser's Inside Story. Bowser's Inside Story is a turn-based RPG with action commands and like overworld and like 2D exploration. Bowser Jr.'s Journey is not any of that. It is a game where you pick units. It's Fire Emblem, essentially. Fire Emblem that plays itself. You pick units, you try to pit them up against the army team, and yeah, it's fantastic. I can't say I love it as much as the base game, but I would say the story that is in Bowser Jr.'s Journey, which primarily main character Bowser Jr., of course, but then you also get like characterizations of the Koopalings, which hasn't really happened too much. Koopalings were in Superstar Saga a little bit. They're in Paper Jam. They're in a number of games. The Koopalings are in a lot of places, but very rarely do they get like character. And Bowser Jr. Journey establishes characters for each of them, and it does it really well. Morton is Eat Rock Brain Guy. Ludwig is smart, cocky leader kinda esque character. Roy is the hothead. Wendy is fries, French fries, and Lemmy is dead. So yeah, it's really just fucking fantastic cast of characters that, like, genuinely, I've said this a few times recently, but my most recent Bowser Jr.'s Journey stream actually made me have to hold back some emotions, which hasn't really happened for very many games. It's going to be very nerdy, but really only like Torna the Golden Country from Xenoblade 2 did that as strong and effective. Now, it wasn't quite to the same level. I wasn't watching fucking the entirety of the Mushroom Kingdom get fucking nuked like I did in Torna. But, you know, there was like a moment, like halfway through the game, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it. There's like a moment where, like, you don't really know what happened to the Koopalings because they all start to vanish. Like, you know that they're gonna be fine because it's a Mario game. Of course they're gonna live. But, like, you know, like, they all keep getting offed because fucking Bowser Jr. is like a fucking brat And then he kind of realizes that, and I don't know, there was something about that scene where he realized that he was kind of being a fucking bumpty, if you can allow me to use that word. He was being a bumpty, and he kind of realized it, and it was a touching scene. Main game Bowser's Inside Story doesn't really have that. It's got some good moments, but I wouldn't say anything in the main game has been like tugging at the heartstrings. And maybe it's more because of a very tiny, like, personal connection to things in Bowser Jr. Journey that I won't go into. But just like overall, that is it's a good thing if a game can make me do that, and I have to admit that Bowser Jordan did that to me. So yeah, I highly recommend this game to anyone. Give it a shot. Borrow it from a friend. Emulate it in some way or another. The remake removes you needing to blow into the microphone. You know what? If you need a reason to buy the remake and you already have the original, you don't have to blow into the microphone to do Bowser's fire attack. Is that enough of a reason for you? For some people, it might be. For me, kind of. But, you know, it's good. You could play the original and you're not going to get a lesser experience. In some ways, you might get just the same, or in some people might argue a better experience. I think there were just some small things like balance patches that were done in the remake to make it just slightly more definitive, even though it wasn't necessary. Overall, quality game. There's a reason I put this at number 1. I'm just gonna very quickly run through my honorables here. Hades was a game that, if it came out this year, it would have been my number 1 or number 2 for my top 5 of the games of the year thing. It's kind of a stretch to say I streamed this game because I streamed it twice and it wasn't a series. It was, first time was me trying it out for the first time, and then like a month later I'm like, here's how good I am at the game now, to which I got pretty good at. Actually, I might pat myself on the back to say. Hades, fantastic game. I'm not gonna go into it too much, but the story, really good. Caught me way off guard on how good the story is here as well. Music is fantastic. I actually bought this game's soundtrack, which I don't normally do. Well, I tried to, but like, if a game, like, when I'm in the middle of playing it, I should say, causes me to go out of my way to buy the soundtrack, that means it's a good-ass soundtrack. Darren Korb got a really good soundtrack. There appear to be fun announcements at the Game Awards, which are making me excited maybe to watch, but don't tell me about them yet. I'm gonna watch it on my own time here. I also briefly wanted to talk about just card openings. This isn't a game, but I got into card openings this year on stream, and I really liked doing that. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Still don't have Animal Crossing amiibo cards. I still got 2 boxes of Sword and Shield Evolving Skies on my desk waiting to be opened. One of these will be opened within the week. I'm not gonna wait forever on Animal Crossing cards, so sometime next week before I go on my vacation, you'll see me opening up cards. Don't know if you'll like this one because I don't know your stance on fighting games. Alright, throw it at me, because I'm not huge on fighting games, but let me know. What is the fighting game? But you know what? That is the end of what I have to talk about, actually. Like I said, very brief on the card thing. Just want to briefly mention it. Persona 4 Ultima. Never played Persona. Well, actually, that's not true. I played Persona 5. Never played Persona 4, I should have said. Wait, isn't Persona 4 Ultima already a game? Isn't that... Is it a port coming to Switch? Is that what's happening? Anyways, I'll figure out what's going on with Game Awards in just a second. But yeah, that's it for me. Overall, for my top 5, you know, I didn't play a lot. it was a little disappointing when I was trying to organize the list. I was like, oh shit, I really only play Nintendo games, but like I need to put some variety there. But you know, you just gotta be honest with it as well and say how it was. And overall, the games that came out this year, back half of the year was loaded with a lot of really good shit. There's more things I want to check out this year that I just haven't gotten around to. Monkey Ball being something I bought but just haven't really played too much. Pokemon Snap is something that I need to get back to. I really liked what I played of it. I just didn't play more than like 2 hours. Crazy. And then I didn't really care for Mario Golf, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching my podcast thing. This is a little bit different compared to what I usually do. Normally I have a game in front of me, especially for this amount of time. But yeah. I'm going to turn on the Game Awards and begin watching it for myself, but thanks for watching. If you're new to the stream here and you want to follow for maybe next year's podcast, because I'll do this again next year for sure, you know, you can do that if you want. You don't have to, though. I'm fine. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with like my regularly scheduled streaming. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I have nothing more to add. Good games this year. As for what I played on stream, I really liked the games that I streamed this year. There were a lot of notable exceptions. I thought about throwing Mario 3 on there. I thought about throwing Skyward Sword on there. We talked about Skyward Sword, so that's fine. But yeah, overall, very happy. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later. All right, bye.